Good afternoon, everybody. Let's get everything up and running. Right, YouTube's on. Woohoo! Oh, hi, Jackie. Is Facebook on? And Facebook is on. We're cooking on gas. Marvellous. So I'll give everybody a second to get logged in before we start showing you everything. So it's something a little bit different today. We're going to do a more masculine card. So no flowers. None whatsoever. Hi, June. Hi Christine, hi Celia on YouTube. So remember, we are live on YouTube and on Facebook. So I'll try and keep up with all your comments and everybody getting logged in. Just give everybody a second. It's Saturday afternoon, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop doing twice a week lives, and I'm just going to go back to once a week. But I haven't decided yet whether to do Saturday afternoons or Tuesday evenings. So I shall let you all know once I've decided. David's watching on YouTube while he's doing his ironing. Oh, Pam, bless you. Pam's lost her voice. It's traditional for October. So hi, Anne. Hi to everybody who's joining on YouTube and on Facebook. I'm not going to start yet, because there's still quite a few of you to get in. YouTube is telling me I've got people waiting to watch, but I don't know how to do anything about that. Tuesday evening. Well, I'll ask you all in the group. Michelle's saying she would prefer Tuesday evenings rather than Saturday afternoons, but I shall let you know. I'll ask everybody in the Facebook group which is the best time. It's only because I'm really busy at the minute. Obviously, I'm designing and prepping and planning for next year. So this is always a busy time of the year. So good afternoon to everybody I've not spoken to already. As I said, you can see a little bit of what I've got under here. But I'll go through all the products with you before I start, like I usually do. Hi, Sandra. So good afternoon to everybody. Oh, who's this popping up on my emails? Dismiss. Oh, Patricia's found me. Bless you. Well done. So I thought let's do something different. We're going to do a man's card. We're going to do a man's card, but the way I'm going to do this is you can absolutely do this for whoever you want, depending on which stamp you use. So is everybody? Hi Rose, how you doing, darling? Oh, Michelle, just getting over COVID, bless you. And now going for your flu jab. Oh, my word. That's a lot to deal with all at once. So it is. If the lives are Tuesdays, I won't be able to watch due to the time difference. Oh, yeah, you see. Yeah. Where are you, Jackie? Saturday is better for you because you can watch me live because of the times. Hi, Anne. Oops, right, I'm clicking the wrong buttons. I'm clicking buttons everywhere. And it's in the kitchen making a brew. Bless you. Right, so I'm going to move all this to one side and we're going to get started. Remember that post I did the other day on the Facebook page saying I'd got 9 cards to make for the craftathon? Well, I've done 6, so I've still got 3 more to do. No Lee, no hints, no nothing, no sneaky peeks. I can't yet, no flowers, Chrissy. So there is a new release coming up in a fortnight, and I shall start the sneaky peeks a couple of days before the release. So I'm going to move everything that I've got here, and I'm just going to quickly run through what I'm using. I like to do this as ever. I have put links in the description, whether you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook, that take you to the website. And when I was thinking about what to do for today's live, I've got, you can't see this. Hi Sheila. when I do the live on Tuesday, I might have a shave and done my hair and let you see me, and then you can see how I've got all my stamps stored in my craft room at home. You know, I keep everything in these tubs, and I've got all my stamps in collections. And you all know that I have two of everything. I always have two of everything. One which is my working set, and one which is a brand new set. It's kind of my archive, if you like, but it's also in case I forget them. But all my stamps go in little tubs like this. So when I was thinking about what to do today, I had a look over at my shelf where all my stamps are. I thought, you know what, I absolutely loved the Scenic Silhouettes, and I've never done anything with them for ages. And I thought, because we've got these new products now, we've got the greyboard and we've got the chalky paints, it kind of revitalises and refreshes stamps that we've done before. So you get a fresh outlook, or a fresh look, and a fresh way of creating cards with them, because you've got new products to add into the mix. So I'm going to go I wanted to do the Scenic Silhouette. So for those of you that haven't seen these, I absolutely love these stamps, and I am going to do another series of these. I did 6, and these are fabulous for quick cards, but they also give you scope to make more elaborate cards as well, which for me obviously is a win-win. So I'm going to quickly just show you the 6 designs that we've got, the current 6 designs in the Scenic Silhouettes. There is a link in the description, and these have all got 20% off this weekend. So instead of being 14, I think they're 11 quid. So best time to get them while there's money off, because you know the special offers don't stay on forever. This is actually the one that I'm going to use today. And when I designed these so that you've actually got 3 different scenes in each of these stamps. So you can use them to fit straight onto a DL card. So you know DL, you're sorted for DL cards. But you can also split these into 3 different scenes, which is what I'm going to do. And this is my favourite, I think. This is called Sail Away. And this is actually, yes, it's a nautical scene, but you've actually got 3 different scenes going on. So you've got the whole thing with the sailing boat, the dolphins. Got the dolphins there, and you've got the mermaid, and then obviously you've got the sky with the clouds and the seagulls. But what you can do with this stamp is just use the middle part. You can just use this half, which is what I'm going to do today, or you could just use that half. I love that. That's 3 stamps in one. So Sail Away, which is what I'm using today. So I'll pop that there. I didn't pop it there, I threw it. But you get the idea. I don't know what that is, Helen. I think that must be something to do with the connection for Facebook. It's not me. I promise you I'm talking at the same speed. Then you've got this one here, which is called Secret Garden. So if you like your fairies and your magical kind of things, you've got that here. So again, you can use that part on its own, or that part on its own. So 3 different stamps from one stamp. Let me just show you that one. They're all playing in the toadstools. And then we've got this. I'm going to see, I said the Sail Away is my favourite, but I like the bees as well. This one's called Busy Bees. And this is one with the beehives, the sunflowers, and all the little bees flying around in between. And again, use it as a whole, or use it in 3 different sections. Then we've got the Remembrance one, which is the only one I think that you can't break down into a smaller stamp. I've done a couple of Remembrance stamps over the years, and this one, the Remembrance ones are always massively popular, particularly for Remembrance Day and everything. So that is the Remembrance one. And what I did when I did this one is you've got a male and a female soldier, and then obviously you've got the extra, whoops, try not to knock you dizzy, then you've got the extra poppies in there as well. There you go. Let me put them to this side because I'm not using these. Then you've got another one which I absolutely love called Pond Haven, which has all the bulrushes and the grasses. You've got the geese or the ducks or whatever you want them to be flying, and they're separates. So again, you've got three different ways to use this one, and I love that look. Got a little frog sitting on a rock. Details with all the dragonflies. And then you've got Daisy Days, which has got long tall daisies. So there's, I don't know why these are all upside down in the packet. I can't blame anybody but me, because it's only me that uses them. So Daisy Days is the ones with the long tall daisies with the grasses in between. And you've also got the little bunny hide in there. So obviously you can use it with him or without him. And you've got the butterflies flying in between. They all have their own sentiments in them as well. And they're all curved sentiments, as you can see. So a little bit different to what I normally do. I love the silhouettes. So much you can do with silhouette stamps. And then the big backgrounds. So I've got 3 out for today. You know I love my big backgrounds. If you struggle with background stamps or anything like that, these big backgrounds will actually, they'll do a whole background. Bev's on Facebook chatting and watching on YouTube. That's just to confuse you, Bev. I don't know how you do it. I can barely keep up. So I've got three of the big backgrounds out because I couldn't choose which one to use today. And the big backgrounds, I'm sure Karen said the big backgrounds have got 30% off this weekend. So again, you're saving money on the big backgrounds. And I'm probably going to use this one, which is the world map. It actually works really, really nicely with the travel, the scene that I'm going to use today. So I'll keep that to one side. However, so does the vintage travel. I love that one. So much detail in that. And then also my favourite, which is the vintage ledger. So this one could be a nautical ledger. It can be absolutely anything. I think I'm going to stick to the map. Unless I change my mind. And then the rest I'll show you as we go through. Where's Jean? I don't know where Jean is. So I'm rolling my sleeves up before I get started. Because I don't want blue ink on my sleeves. So this is a card with no flowers, and I very, very, very rarely make cards for men because, you know, flowers are my thing, pretty is my thing. However, these stamps now, you can see where I'm going with this. These stamps and the greyboard particularly, the greyboard now give us the opportunity to use all these silhouette stamps, which is what I'm going to do today, and frame them. So we can now, this is what I love this. If you haven't had any of the greyboard yet, please just treat yourself to one of the frame sets, because honestly, it's going to completely transform what you do with the stamps that you've already got. Even on here, look, even on here, if I wanted to create a scene behind my stamp, behind my greyboard, you can absolutely do that as well. So all those background stamps that I've encouraged you to collect over the years, you're going to get them out again and use them in a completely different way. So what I've used here is the scroll frames. Let me see if I can find a sheet to show you. These are all my greyboard bits. Look, these are all, I told you I love it. These are all the ones that I've been using, and I've got bits missing from them. Let me see if I can find this scroll frame. Here it is. So this is the scroll frame one, which is what I've used today. So that obviously fits in there. That fits inside there, and then that comes from there, look. It's amazing. And you've got 2 different sizes of this frame, and you've got the oval. So if you wanted to just do a pretty card, you could use it with the oval. I'm not listening, Bev. Bev's being naughty. So what I've got ready already, look, is this is just a this was, if I'm honest with you, this was going to be a 6x6 card, and then you know I can't do 6x6s, so it ended up being a 7x7, and then the 7x7 has ended up being an 8x8. Or a 7.5 by 7.5. So I've just added more layers. You absolutely wouldn't need to do this. It's just me. I like lots of different layers on my cards. So we're going to start with the background stamping. So I'm going to pop all the greyboard to one side, and we're going to start with the stamps. So I'm going to, little tip for you. In fact, I'm going to get a drink first. Let me poke these bits out first while I get a drink. Hi Janice. Good afternoon to everybody who's joined us later. I will read all the comments later, I promise you. Bev's being naughty, saying what that stamp reminds her of. I'm not getting involved in that conversation. Hi Cheryl, welcome. Oh, Cheryl's a newbie. Well, welcome to the madhouse. So as ever, my YouTube is a little bit behind my Facebook, but I'll try and, hi Cal, I'll try and keep up with everybody. Right, so remember, this is what we're doing today. So these stamps were designed to fit a DL card, so you could use them to do, if you would like to do slimline cards, you're absolutely good to go. You stamp this, matte and layer it, pop your sentiment on, and you are good to go. The addition now of the greyboard means that I can frame all of these individual parts of this stamp, and I want them, I might go there, look. I think that is a fabulous scene. Let me bring that up. So we'll get the sailing boat in and half of the lighthouse on the side. Don't that look fabulous? So obviously we need to stamp onto cardstock. So a little tip, I measured the inside of this frame. So I know that the inside of this frame is just over 9 centimeters. So I've made my card bigger. I've made my card 10 centimeters, and then I can trim it on my guillotine after I've done the stamping to fit inside that frame. So we're then creating a dimensional frame for a stamped image. I've got a spare piece just in case I do it wrong. So hi Chuke. Good afternoon to everybody I've not spoken to already. So I'm just going to pop these bits out. I was going to leave them, but I'm not. I'm going to pop the bits out. Just remember that, I mean, this one's not as delicate as the other frame, but just be careful when you're popping them out. Like I've just torn that, but it won't matter. It won't matter at all. I could have done this before, but I've been too busy. It's Craftathon workshop next weekend. I'm looking forward to it. So if any of you are coming, I've got no idea how we're going to get all the projects done in one day, because I've just done three samples of this each card, obviously, because there's 3 sets of tables, and it's taken me more or less all day to do 3 cards. So it will be fun. It will be fun. And remember, just while I'm poking bits out, in fact, let me find a link for you. I'm going to find a link for you, because I'm prepping next week the online workshops. So if you can't get to my physical workshops, you've got to be careful when you pop your bits out. Absolutely true. If you can't get to my physical workshops at the shop, you can sign up for one of my online workshops, and the online workshops are done online. Obviously, it tells you all about it. I've just popped a link on YouTube and on Facebook. So if you click on the link, it will tell you all about my online workshops. We have such a good laugh as well. And then obviously it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can still take part. You don't have to take part in it live, because the video will be there for you afterwards as well. Oh, it's a shame. It's actually a shame to lose these pieces, because they could be waves. Let me show you this, look. Look, they could be waves, look. And that's just the waste. Aren't they fabulous? I'm going to save them. I'm saving them. How about that? Bit of a bonus when you can use the waste. Right, so let's start with the stamp. So I am using my stamping platform for this, just in case I miss any bits. And I was going to stamp and emboss, but I'm not. I'm going to use the VersaFine Clair. And this is one of my favourite blues, as most people will know. So the Twilight is a really dark blue. It's absolutely beautiful. And originally, I had these two Distress Oxides out. But because I'm doing this in reverse, we are going to do a watery background. But instead of using Distress Oxides to stamp my image with, because the Distress Oxide will bleed with the water, I've changed it to the VersaFine Clair. So I remember I made my card a little bit bigger. I made my card bigger than the actual frame. So I know I've got some scope, some margin for error. Look at this fabulous stamp. And I'm just going to have to position this now, because I want this half. So let me show you how this works. Let me bring that in. So because I know I'm going to frame this image, and if I was doing a DL card, I would just stamp the whole thing, matte and layer it using the DL dies, job done. But I only want this half, the half of the lighthouse and the sailboat. So I need to pop it to this side because of my platform. And I'm going to come a little bit off the bottom. Like so. Trying to make sure I don't catch that edge in case I need to go in twice. Pop the magnets back on. I think I'm clutching at straws for this bottom bit. Let me go a little bit further up. And because it's a silhouette stamp, I already know that I'm going to have to stamp it twice. Can I ask what material you use for the frame? It's greyboard, Sylvia. Bev, are you still on Facebook? Could you put me a link on to the greyboard for Sylvia, please? Let me find a full sheet. These are my spares. So it's laser cut greyboard, Sylvia. So you've got dimension but no weight. I love greyboard because it doesn't weigh anything. So you can absolutely use it on your cards and it doesn't add any extra weight. Yes, it's on the website. So I know I only need half of this, so here we go. And remember, be patient with yourself. When you're doing a silhouette stamp, you do more often than not need to stamp it twice. Oops. Remove that. But let's see how we go. So what we should get is an extra bonus, because we're not using the whole image. I very, very rarely make cards for men, because you know I don't. I like pretties. But that doesn't mean when you're making a man's card, I mean, that looks amazing already. That doesn't mean that when we make men's cards, they have to be crap. And I'm not really a nautical person, but I absolutely love this image. So I've gone in twice just to give me the depth of colour. That looks amazing. Amazing. Look at that. Little stalk. So I'm going to pop that to one side and leave that to dry, because I've been very heavy with the ink. No, I said I don't make cards for men. I don't give cards out, full stop, period. Oh, not very often. Although I've got to say, Jennifer, when I was at the shop the other day, we've got boxes, and in fact, Anne, if you're still watching, just send me a message after or in a bit or tomorrow, and just say hello to me, Anne, because it'll remind me of something I thought about the other day. We've got boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes of cards, so I'm going to have to start giving them away. We do normally give them to the school and let them sell them so that they can get some money for their activities and things. So put that back in its packet. You can see how much I love this stamp. Look at the state of it. And it's always a safe bet, I think. So we all know that men's cards are the hardest to do, because it's no good sending me a card with footballers or rugby or anything like that, because I'm absolutely not interested. But if you sent me a card with this on, I would love it, because I love the nautical theme. So we've now got that there. Yeah, I love lighthouses too, Emma. Absolutely love them. There's just something about the nautical theme that I really like. I don't know whether it's nostalgia. There you are, Anne. Remind me tomorrow. There's just something really nostalgic about the seaside and that kind of thing. So we're now going to stamp the big background. Where did I put it? Does anybody know where I put it? Right, bear with me a minute. I've got to find that big background. And I said I'll put it here because it's the one I'm going to use. And now I can't find I can't find it. I've not been anywhere. Talk among yourselves while I find this stamp. How can I have lost it? Right, that's really, really bugging me. Oh, it's here. Found it. It was on with my dies. Right, so we're going to stamp this big background now. And if I just show you, look, the big backgrounds are A5. So this is obviously a 6, I think. Yes, a 6-inch piece of card, so I know it's not going to fit. And the map, so the vintage map is the only one that is landscape. So I know that this, I'm going to need to stamp it twice. And I'm going to do this not on the platform. I'm going to just get some kitchen roll. That was the kitchen roll you heard there, not me. And when I've done this, I'll be able to tell you why I've opted for the VersaFine Clear as opposed to the Distress Oxides. So I'm leaving this stamp on the carrier sheet. I'm not going to stamp it using the stamping platform or an acrylic block. I'm leaving it on the sheet. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm not too fussed if it's not perfect. Words you never thought you'd hear Phil Martin say, eh? Words you never thought you'd hear Phil Martin say. I don't want it perfect. It probably will be, but I'm not bothered if it isn't. So I'm going to stamp off the page. So remember, all the big backgrounds have that torn notepad edge, and I don't want that. So I'm going to stamp it off the page. I'm just going to stand up to do this. So apologies if I headbutt the camera because it's right in front of me. My sleeve's bugging me as well, so that's going up another row. Move my mouse. And I'm just going to stamp this, ink this with the stamp. So if I wanted an absolutely perfect background, I would use my A5 slimline acrylic block or use a bigger piece of card, do it on my platform and then cut it down afterwards. But I'm not too bothered if this is not perfect. So I can tell you now there will be bits missing from this because, let's see if I can get the balloon in the middle. Just bringing it closer to me. Let's try that. Let's have a look. Well, in actual fact, it's stamped pretty fabulous. So now you see at the bottom is where I'm going to get that torn edge, and I don't mind it at the bottom. Oh, here he is, Ice Cream Man, bang on cue. If you wanted to do this even more cleverly, if I'd have stamped at the bottom first and then gone at the top, I wouldn't get this bit, but it's texture. Good ink pads, these. Do you know, this will make you laugh. So I was working in my room yesterday and it was absolutely throwing it down with rain, absolutely bucketing it down with rain, and I heard the ice cream van across the way and I'm like, really? It was going to be back. Look at that. Is that not just an amazing background? Isn't that just fabulous? Sylvia wants a corner at 99. Bev, don't you say anything. I absolutely love that image. Absolutely love that image. Isn't that just stunning? So while I clean the stamp, the reason I've used the VersaFine Clairs on there rather than Distress Oxides is because they won't move with the water. And we're going to use the chalk paints now to give it a watery background. So if you've seen me before, you will know that I use the watercolour blending brush pens constantly. But the fact that I've now got these lovely chalk paints gives me a different finish. And it was important for me that you could still do the same techniques. So I'm going to show you that now. Just take the water off that. Put that back where it belongs. I thought when I was planning this, it would be a quicker a quicker demo, but you know it won't be. But hopefully you're learning things, even if you're not into the nautical look. Mind you, I'm not, but I do love it. Let's get cleaning. I don't know whether I've told you this before, but we live at the top of a hill, and that ice cream van that we can hear quite easily is actually quite far away. But because I'm up at the top of a hill, I think the sound must travel. The sound must travel up. Just look at that. I'll give you a little tip, crafters, yeah? If you get a stain on your craft sheets, use your hand sanitizer gel. That'll get it off. I'll do that later. Or an alcohol wipe. Right, so I'm leaving these to dry now. You can see I was heavy with the ink. I mean, that looks amazing before I even do anything else. So I'm going to pop that to one side, and we're going to come to the frames now. And we're going to start painting. So we're going to create our own embellishments using the grey board, and this is why the chalk paints are so fabulous, because we're going to get a lovely soft finish. And we're going to go with, let me just make some space for myself. So currently there are 15 colours in the chalk paints, as you all know. And they're all just beautiful. Let me see if I can turn around and show you. Oh, well, that didn't work, but you get the idea. So I can't help you choose colours for this, because they're all absolutely beautiful. But I can tell you, I'm using today Oxford Blues. So I'm using Oxford Blues. And I'm also going to use a little bit of Ocean Teal. So they're the two colours that I'm using today. I might pop some red on. In fact, let's pop the red out just in case. And we're going to paint this frame. You've got, Chris is just saying on Facebook, she's got a police station and a fire station 5 minutes from where she lives, so you must have the constant with the sirens. Oh. So, well, I don't know that I've told you this. So where I live, say I live here, we've got one hospital that direction and another hospital that direction. So I'm just poking these bits out. In fact, no, I'm going to leave them in. No, I'll poke them out. Decisions. I don't like wasting these little circles, so when you get your grey board, just look at the waste, because quite often the waste, like these little dots, they're actually lovely little embellishments for the centre of your flowers and things, just for dimension. In fact, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that in red and the rest in blue. Waste not, want not. So we're now going to transform this this piece of grey board and create an embellishment that matches the rest of the card. These brushes have been stitching in. Oh, well, I never knew that. Yeah, you could use them as gems, Chris is saying. So I'm going to stipple this paint on. In fact, you know what? I think I'm going to do a two-tone. I think I'm going to do a two-tone look with the teal and the blue. I am. I'm going to do two. We're doing two-tone, everybody. Use them as eyes and buttons on a gingerbread man. How many gingerbread men do you think I put on my cards? Husband's just Anne's just said her husband's picked her up off the floor. Celia said 2 of the stamps have fell into your basket. Do you know what, Celia? It's absolutely the best time to do it. And I'm trying to coordinate that when I'm using something, if I've got time, I'll speak to the girls at the shop and say, just put them on offer for people while I'm working with them. Christine's learning how to spend money. You are funny. Do you know what? As crafters, we see it, we want it, but what I try and do with all my products is make sure it's something that has more than one use. So we're going to use this paint to create our coloured embellishments, but we're also going to use it to create the watery background. So I'm just going to stipple this blue paint on. I'm going straight onto it. No primer, doesn't need it. You can see I put the paint on my brush, and then I put it into the lid, and that's just so I can take the excess off. I tend to always use the paint from the lid. And by the time I get to the end with this, it will have already started to dry. And I can also tell you that I am working on 15 new colours. For those of you that know me, you already know that of all the finishes we get for crafters, sparkly, glossy, shiny, metallic and everything like that, chalky is by far and above my favourite finish. It just looks classy. So if you, little tip for you, if you stipple this on thinly, it will even itself out and dry smooth. If you stipple this on really thickly, it will dry and give you some texture. I wouldn't waste my paints to do texture. I would use the gritty texture medium to do that. So that now has transformed, and find a bit of white card, from that to that. For some reason the lights don't seem very good in here today, and yet I've got them all on. Just see if they're all on 4. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's better. And I'm going to do the frame, the border as well. Chalky paints are amazing. And remember, these are water based. You can even stamp with these. I probably wouldn't do it on an acrylic stamp or a photopolymer stamp, but on any of my rubber backgrounds you can. You can mix this with my texture medium to change the colours of the texture medium. So I'm going to leave that there. Oh, I missed a bit. And then I'm going to bring in the wire dye. I was going to leave this plain craft, but I'm not. So this is the texture dye, the wire texture dye. I won't use all of this, but I will use some of it. I'm just going to take it off the cloth while I do this. Otherwise I'll waste more. So I'm transforming this piece now. So this is a die cut that we're changing. I just want corners, so let's just do these 2 corners. Oops. Yeah, that's enough of that. I'll clean my brush, and then we're going to go with the ocean teal. That is not my coffee, I'm cleaning my brush in, just so you know. I've done that, been there, done that. And I now check again before I stick my brush in. We get a drink. Right, so ocean teal. So I'll leave that to dry just while. I'll leave that to dry just while we're doing the ocean teal. Oh, I don't know why I've got another pair of glasses here. Oh, they're the computer ones. So just put that there. In fact, I'll put that to one side and get another piece. So we're going to stipple this now with the ocean teal, and I'm also going to paint the frame. So this is one of the greyboard frames, the layering frames, and I'm going to paint that with a smooth brush so that I can stamp over it. So just a little bit. Love these colours together. Look how fabulous these colours are together. Oh, that just looks lovely. I love it when a plank comes together. That just looks fabulous. So it does. Let me bring that in to show you. Doesn't that look beautiful? The blue and the ocean teal together. So put that to one side, put that to one side, bring the frame in. So because I know I'm going to stamp a sentiment onto this, I need to put this on with a flat brush so that it dries thinner, flatter even. And I know that it might take 2 coats for this colour, although looking at it, it might not. Love the frames. I love everything. So just because, the only reason I've gone for the flat brush is because I know that I'm going to be stamping the sentiment onto this. I'm just going to go in and be a bit thicker with the paint. Oh, look at that colour. And I'll let that dry, and that will dry perfectly smooth, so I'll be able to stamp onto it. And I don't know why I put the brush in there, because I need that colour. So let me just take that back out. What have I missed? I've missed something, so let me just scroll back on Facebook. Janice, I've missed what you were saying, so I'll have to scroll back later. But hopefully everything's alright, darling. I'll scroll back later to check. Right, so we're going to finish off with this piece, which is just going to create a little top and bottom border. And I'm doing this one in the Roses Are Red colour, which is a beautiful, beautiful deep red. Just because I like red on, just a pop, just a little touch of red. And before I forget, I forgot to put some teal on this, didn't I? Oops. That's because I've had it in the water. I'm just adding a little bit of the turquoise colour teal to this. Right, now we're on Roses Are Red. Oh, Janice, I hope she's alright, darling. I mean, look at that for a red. So I'm stippling this. In fact, I'm going to put a little bit more on, so I can see if I can show you what I mean by texture from the paints. Oh. I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. So that's the only bit of red I'm having on this card. Because traditionally we see nautical cards, and they're always red, white and blue. But we're not having all those on. So now we're going to come to the backgrounds again. Just pop these all back on the sheet, out of the way. And we're going to come to our stamped images. And you've got choices at this stage, so I'm just going to nip across and cut this to the right size before I carry on. And you know what? Before I cut it, I'm just going to check what size it needs to be, because it's going to go on the back of here. So it needs to be 9.3. There we go. So I've now got a piece that's 9.3, and we're going to give this a watery sky using the paints. That's all right. Don't need to worry about being late. Don't forget, you can always watch the videos back. Remember they will be on the YouTube channel as well. So we'll start with the darkest colour. I was just going to put my finger in that, but I'm not. And we'll take a little bit. That's more than enough. Give it a spray with some water. Obviously, the more water you put in, the paler it will be. I think I want it a bit lighter than that. And then we're just going to pick that up. So hopefully this blue ink's dried enough. And we'll just pick some of this colour up. I think that looks fine as it is. This is why I opted for the VersaFine Clair. Remember, because we've used a chalk paint as well, this does dry lighter. So I'm just going to take that excess off there because we can. And I'm now tormenting myself whether I actually need any teal in it, because I quite like that we've just got different shades of blue. So I think I'm going to leave that as it is, because I quite like that look. So let's just leave that to dry, and then when that's dry we can start putting things together. So what I've got here for the background layers, I'm just going to clean my fingers. Look at my fingers. It's alright, Debbie's late, but don't worry, it doesn't matter what time you get here, as long as you get here. And for anybody who's watching on YouTube, I'm not sure why this happens, but YouTube is always behind Facebook. But it doesn't matter, it will all work out in the end. I was talking to Julia about it last week, because she says hers is usually a couple of minutes, but mine's a bit longer. Not sure why, but hey ho. Right, so we've got a couple of layers on here. So while the background's drying, and that's drying lovely, look already. So while that's drying, I'm going to show you what I've done here. So for the top part, I've used 2 sets of dies. I've used my double debossed squares, which is the one that gives you the double debossed edge look, which always look classy. And I honestly don't know whether we've got any stock of these left or not, but I can tell you now, the double debossed squares, circles and ovals will not be restocked, because I've restocked them about 5 times. So once they've gone, they have gone. So the double debossed squares, and I've put that in combination with one of the stitch torn squares. So the stitch torn ones are the ones that give you that lovely, well, I can show you. They give you that lovely stitched torn edge. But what happens is, when you put the two together, if you use the same size die, let's just find one. If you use the same size die, oh, wrong one, next one up, from each set, you will get a frame, because there are less stitch torn than there are double debossed. So can you see here, look, that would give me a double debossed layer on top of a stitch torn layer, which I just think looks lovely. And as you get down to the smaller ones, the border gets smaller. So when I was doing this, I thought that looked a little bit like waves, which is why I liked it. And this piece more or less covers up all the stitching. But look at that lovely edge we've got there. Isn't that beautiful? So I've left that as it was. I'm going to stick that straight on, just with glue. The double debossed squares are in stock, Bev, are they? Now that really surprises me. I know they've got no stock on TV, because I wouldn't give them any. If you haven't got the double debossed squares and the stitch torn squares, you need to be sharpish. I can tell you that much. So this is going to be the tiniest edge. But it just looks fabulous. It's almost like another die, a different die. Isn't that lovely? Very, very classy. Right, so let's get that. can't remember what I was doing, just give me a minute. Oh bugger, yeah, now I remember. This piece here has got to be stippled with paint. And I'm mad with myself now because I usually do all the painter bits in one go. I could do with one too. Do you know how to be a tidy crafter course? Well, I'll tell you what. I can't show you because you'll see the craftathon cards. But I've got two desks in my craft room. But I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I've got about 26 cards all dotted about my craft room. I keep moving them because I'm trying to find space where they won't get squashed. Right, so back to the squares. And on this one, I meant to do a tatty edge to match the grey board. So I'm going to have to go back in. So bear with me, everybody. So that's the teal. And this is the red. It will be blue in a minute. So this is why I love these paints. So if you saw me when I did the original video introducing you to the chalk paints, one of the reasons I absolutely love them is because I know I can match my card to my card stock to the rest of my project, and that's what I'm going to do here. So we're going to have a lovely stipply effect that matches. I'm just going to see how far in I need to come. Yep, so I know how far I've got to come in, and we're going to stipple that. I'm not filling it in, I want some white bits, but the quality of this paint is so good it doesn't buckle the cardstock. So for somebody like me who's a little bit a bit of a perfectionist with colour matching and everything, this is so valuable to me. So no skill involved in this, it's just a lovely textural finish we'll get. I'm literally just stippling, making sure I leave some white bits. I'm just going to bring it in a little bit further. Just using the paint that's already on the brush. And that's that. And then repeat with the ocean teal. There's a bit of paint on there, so I'm not wasting that. Too much on there. I put too much paint on there, so forgive me. So this piece of card now is going to perfectly match the greyboard toppers that we did. So remember at the beginning when I said just because we're doing I hate to say that it's a man's card because it's not necessarily, it's just because the subject matter is associated more with men. But it doesn't mean that it can't be a fabulous card. And it's also one that you'd be able to post. Woohoo! Who makes cards that you can post? Well, Phill Martin does. Twice a year. Twice a year, Phill will make a card that you can post in an envelope. Any more than that, it's not going to happen. Oh. Right, so let me just show you this now, look. Oh, that is just so fabulous. Look at that edge. It reminds me of the seaside. So we'll let that dry, let that dry. Let's see where we're at with the image. Oh, that's fab. Oh, it has reacted a little bit with the lighthouse, but it looks good. It's not quite dry yet. So let's pop it underneath there while it's drying. And we'll come to the frame. So this is the little frame from the greyboard set. And we're going to stamp our sentiment onto there. We get a drink. Somebody needs, when Di's not here, you need to remind me to drink, because Di normally tells me. And that is absolutely freezing now. It's a good job I like cold coffee. Just pop over. Are you using Essentials cardstock with the chalk paint? Kathleen's asking me on YouTube. Yes, Kathleen. I only ever use my premium card. That's the only cardstock I use. Cheryl's saying I don't know how to get it on Facebook. Let me see if I can copy. You mean the video, Cheryl? Let me. I don't know whether it'll let me do that, but I've just popped a link on YouTube for the Facebook. Cheryl said, Cheryl on YouTube. She's put, I'm learning a lot. It's not necessarily all crafting. That's amazing. Right, so we're going to stamp one of the sentiment, and I'm going back to the compendium sentiments. So the compendium sentiments, for people that don't know, the ones that I did a few years ago, and I did the essentials, the happy birthday, best wishes, with love and all that, and I did them in 4 different styles. So you've got here Beautifulistic, which is the one that has all these beautiful swirly fonts, which I'm not using today. Then you have the Boldtastic, which is the one that I'm going to use today, which has bolder, chunkier sentiments, which is the one that I'm going to use today. Then you have the, oh my god, I might use this. Then you have Grungy-Philistic, and I do come up with some names. And these are the ones that have the grungy style. So you've got scratches and ink splats and old typewriter fonts and everything in there. And then you've also got Decorative-Tastic, and Decorative-Tastic is one that I just think is absolutely beautiful. So brilliant with embossing powders, these. So like the Especially For You, I don't know whether you can see that, but they're all little stars in there. Just For You with little daisies on, and so on and so forth. Look at that. How gorgeous is that? So I know some of these have gone already because they've been gone ages. But the ones that are in stock will be on the website. And I'm just going to simply choose one that fits on here. So I can either go Happy Birthday, because I know Happy Birthday fits. I can have Enjoy Your Day. I could even have For You. But I think I'm going to go with the... Ooh, decisions. I'm going to go with the Happy Birthday. And I'm going to stamp it with the VersaFine Claire. So we will have the teal, that is the ocean teal paint on the grey board. Look, doesn't that look beautiful? What a gorgeous colour. So we've got a colour theme running here, and I'm going to be very brave and just go for it. And ultimately, if you're going to try this at home and you're going to be brave and go straight in like I am, if it doesn't work, paint over it or use the other side. So just hold it for a second longer than you would do if it was cardstock, just to let the ink transfer. I think that looks pretty marvellous for a water-based ink. In fact, it looks a bit watery. How fab is that? Well, that was a lucky accident, because I didn't know we would get that effect. Because we've used VersaFine Claire, so if you were using VersaFine Onyx Black, that would be a solid black. But because I've used the VersaFine and they're a pigmenting rather than a dye based, we've got that fabulous water. I'm trying to get it. There you go, look. It almost looks like it's a watermark. So that wouldn't happen if that was a Distress Oxide, because Distress Oxides don't stamp as sharply onto the paint. VersaFine Clear and VersaFine do. We've just got to leave that to dry now. So top tips, if you're going to be stamping onto paint, use the VersaFine Original or the VersaFine Clear, or your embossing powders, which I was going to use today, but I'm not now, because I can't find my heat gun. So that is now dry. That is now completely dry. And let me just show you the side of this card, look, because this is really important for me. Look, we've got no buckling, no wobbling or anything. Amazing. Amazing. So let's get this stuck together. This is going on there flat. Cheryl said, do I need to refer to you as Mr. M? Most people do, Cheryl. Amongst other things, I'm sure. Depends what mood they get me in. So this is just going on there, just flat with glue. And then that is going onto my card on foam tape. This is, I always struggle. I don't know whether you're the same, everybody, but I see Angela and Helen and everybody from the design team when they make fabulous little A6 cards, 6x6 cards, and I just struggle with the smaller cards. I don't know why. I think it's because I like bigger ones. So this is going to go straight onto my card. And remember, I say this every time, I'm only doing a card front, but if I was sticking this onto a proper card blank, and foam tape is your first layer to touch the card, don't put glue on your foam tape. So imagine this is my 8x8 card blank. This is going straight on with foam tape, no glue. I'm just going to stand up. Look how this is coming together so easily. And I think the best thing about this is, with those silhouette stamps, we could quite easily have done this in girly colours and use the fairy stamp. So we're now going to pop the background on, and that's going on there, look. Just flat. And that should give us a fabulous, that just looks gorgeous already. That looks lovely already. I'm just making sure it's straight. Now normally what I would do is I would take my white gel pen and do, shall I do it? Shall I do it? Let's see. Let's see. Let's see whether I want to or not. All I'm doing is I'm just testing the water. No, I'm not putting the stitches on. It doesn't need it. So put that to one side. Show you where we're at. Oh, that's beautiful. I say it like I'm surprised. So now this is dried enough for me to stick onto the topper. Stop sending me email notices. Yeah, Caroline's just said on YouTube it's nice to see products from lots of different collections and releases working together. And I guess this is one of the things that I always try and think about. Right, so I'm going to pop the frame on that image. So I'm just going around the square part of this frame with my glue. And then I'm going to take the excess off, just because I don't want it to seep underneath. I would normally do that with a tissue. Get your gesso out and give it splats. What, that background? No, I want it like that because it looks like the ocean. So let's just pop that on there. So I'm just holding that in place till the glue grabs. Make sure I've not missed any bits. Look how fab that looks like. Oh. I'm just going to pop that underneath. I'm just going to pop that underneath here for a second, just to weigh it down till the glue grabs. Mix and match makes the stash go further. Absolutely it does, Elaine. And more importantly for me, because I mean I say this all the time, don't I? I tell you when I release something new that I design it with new things to come in mind, and also with previous collections, and it's absolutely true. I do. I always look at what I've already done and make sure it works with everything. So just while I'm letting that set for a sec. Oh, that's perfect. I'll get a drink and I'll just remind you all while I'm doing this. So all the products that are in stock are available on my website at honeypotcrafts.co.uk. And I need you to all please subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I'm going to be doing more and more on there. I keep saying it, but I am. So if you've not already done so, please search for Crafting with Phill Martin and Sentimentally Yours on YouTube and subscribe to the channel. You also need to like one of the videos just so YouTube doesn't kick you straight out. You can also ask to join my Facebook group, which is called the same thing, Crafting with Phill Martin and Sentimentally Yours. So just search for that on Facebook and ask to join the group. I'm just going to remind you that when you ask to join my group, you have to accept my group rules. When you ask to join, if I see that you've asked to join and it says no response to the rules, I'll just decline it straight away. And then last but not least, I need you to all please make sure you have liked and followed Sentimentally Yours on Facebook to make sure you get all the notifications and what have you. And while I'm just letting that set, so you can also find me on Twitter, there you go, Phill M. Martin, and on YouTube, no, not YouTube, Instagram, just about everywhere. Instagram, Phill M. Martin, and I've just done a TikTok. I've done one, but it's also Phill M. Martin on TikTok as well. Which was hilarious because it took me about 10 attempts to do a 30-second video. And I thought, after I'd done it, I thought, you know what, what an absolute waste of bloody time. But there you go. So we've now got this fabulous image set within this greyboard frame. And it looks like a framed picture. It's just fabulous. I'm going to do one more thing before I put the foam tape on that, because I want a little bit of glitter on them clouds. Now, do I want a lot of glitter or do I just want a bit? Just a bit, I think. So I'm just putting a little bit of Diamond Dazzle on these clouds. And I'll put a little bit in the ocean as well. Just a bit. Just a bit. It says, carries on. Yeah, that just finishes it off, look. Who says we can't have sparkly clouds? Of course we can. We can have whatever we want. We're crafters. Absolutely, it does, Wendy. Wendy's just said the technique that I'm doing today opens up lots of ideas for so many of my products, and it absolutely does. Bev's just wishful thinking, saying no more releases this year. There's actually 2 new releases for the rest of this year. 2 more, one for November and one for the beginning of December, and then that's it till next year. Right, so let's get this card put together. So if you remember, we've got this lovely textured eye here, and I just wanted to do a couple of corners, so I'm just going to tear that. I might not even use it, we'll see. So I've got one corner there, and one corner here. Let's take a bit more of that off. Take some of that edge off. I might not use these yet, we will wait and see. Look how different it looks though. Oh, I don't know that you can see that. Just buy a little bit of the paint. So I don't know whether I use it or not yet, but let's keep the bits there just in case I do. And this is going across the middle, as is the red. So this little bit of red, I need to just see how big it needs to be. So I need it to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 holes. 9 holes, and then cut it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, got lost. And then I'll save that bit. Waste nothing. Waste nothing. Right, so let's get this put together. So I'm doing the layering first, and then all the sticking on is going to be done last. And the reason I've done that, is because I'm going to use glue gel to pop my embellishments on, apart from the topper. And there's one other thing, because I was going to use embossing powders today, and on this frame here, on the edge of the frame and the border, I might still do it. I might add a little bit of gold, but I was going to use the gold embossing powder to give it a gold finish. But, and I can't believe I'm saying this, I've got 4 heat guns, and I cannot find one. So I've got a horrible feeling I've left them at the studio. So no heat embossing. So let's just put this on the card. Yes, Silvery Moon is lovely glitter, Bev. Yep, two more releases this year. In fact, I'll tell you about one of them. Not next week, week after, but the next new release has some stamps in it that you won't be able to get on TV. You will only be able to get them from me and my other retailers. The rest of the collection will be on TV, but not all of it. And I've done that on purpose. I don't care who hears me. To give the retailers a chance. So the frame now, I'm going to pop that on. I'm going to put it on foam tape, but then I'm going to put glue gel on top of it as well. I used that new Tim Holt stuff the other day and it stinks. You mean the I know what you mean, Bev. It does, but it's fabulous stuff. Yeah, she probably has, Chrissy. Chris is just saying Leonie's probably got my heat tools. Do you know what it is? It's because I've been tidying my room or reorganising it. And I've probably put them somewhere safe that even I can't remember. So we're going to pop this into the middle, and then the borders and everything I'm going to pop on afterwards. So this border here, obviously it fits edge to edge, but I don't want to waste the bits that you're not going to see underneath. So I will snip off the parts that I do need and save the rest. So are you ready for this? I've just had a notification pop up on my screen to tell me I'm live on YouTube. I already know. You devil, Phill, rock on for retailers. Oh dear. Yeah, got to try and help everybody. So let's get this put together. How long have I been? Oh, that's not bad, an hour and a half. I'm trying not to push that frame down. And then I'm putting glue gel on top of that. And I'm on a new tube. You devil, Phill. That's hilarious. So I'm using a bit of glue gel on top of the foam tape. And the reason I've done that is because when you put an image inside a frame, if I'd have put it on just with the glue gel, it might have sank a bit, and I don't want no saggy bits. So yeah, we're still having lots of dimension. And who says we can't? Oh, what have I forgot? I forgot to put the bit of gold on. I'll do it after. So let's just make sure that's central. So you can see how much dimension I've got there. I'm just going to take it in a little bit. That's better. And how fabulous, look, if I just bring this in, look, how amazing is that you can just see the balloon, look, poking out the top. So I'm just going to get the gold paint. So from the paints, you already know that the chalky acrylic paints are the new ones. The ones I did before that were the metallics. And in the metallics, I have two different golds. You have the vintage gold, which is what I'm going to use now. And you also have new gold. And new gold is a little bit brighter. but I'm going for the vintage gold, and I'm just going to do this with my finger because I've already got it on there, and I'm just going to do some little touches. Let's do that. Oh, I didn't want that much. Can you see this beautiful colour? Oh yeah, lovely. You dancer. I would normally do this before I've stuck it on, but I'd already put the glue gel on. So I'm just adding little touches of the gold. I'm just going to do the same with the border. So let me just see how much of the border I need. I need 2 pieces for each side. So 1, I'm going to use the one that I've just cut as well. 2. So I've got 1 extra to spare. I'll bring this in to show you in a second. This is the same. You get the same effect from these paints as you do with a gilding wax, and you can absolutely do this over the top of embossing folders as well. But you don't get the smell from them because there's no what's the right word? There's no flammables or anything in. I can't think what the right word is that you get in the gilding waxes. Let's just show you that, look. Isn't that fabulous? So we've got the texture and the colour from the 2 chalky paints, and then we've got little metallic highlights, saggy bits. You are funny. Who said that? Glynis, just put saggy bits. That ship has sailed here. That's amazing, Glynis. Bless you. Oh dear. Solvent. That's what it is, Jennifer. Yeah, the solvent. The solvent smell. You are funny. I'm going to try and show off now, and I'm just going to try and put a little bit of blue gold on the edge of that. On the edge of that. I can't do it with my finger. My finger's getting it where I don't want it. So, Q fine brush. I'm just putting a little bit of the gold on some of this edge. Oops, that's too much, but hey ho. Just so that it brings in the background and the foreground. Let me just remind you all as well, if you are already in my little Facebook group, good. Don't forget to have a go at the challenge, the monthly layout challenge. I've not had a look actually to see how many entries we've had, but I just think it's a really fab way to get your crafting with the chance of winning something at the end. I'm just getting messy now. Look at that, look. So that's all we need that for now. Oh, no, it's not. You know what I'm doing now, don't you? We're going around the edge of this. It's actually easier to do it with your finger than it is the brush. No comments from Bev about that? That looks amazing. It looks like an old vintage sign. I'm just going to let that dry. I always get delirious the longer we take. And that's the other good thing about my metallic paints, look. They are water soluble. So if you put gilding wax or anything with a solvent in onto your craft sheets, it will ruin them. But my paints, it won't. It will just wash straight off. Right, let's get this card put together. So these two little bits here are the only bit of red that I'm having on this card, and they're going just above these fancy borders. So let's get these on. I'm just using a little bit of glue gel for this. Doesn't matter about the bits you might see in between, because it's going to be glittered. And I'm coming just below the heart there, because the red is going to go above it. Pop that one on with glue. And I love that little pop of red, like portholes. So we're on the last leg, and then I'll decide whether I want them textured eyes popping on. I know the card's upside down, but it won't be in a minute. I'm just making sure it's all level. Oh, that's interesting, Bev. Bev's just saying she thinks the pin flare smells the same as Colol now, but mine doesn't. Mine just smells the same as pin flare. I've just checked it. I can't use Colol, so hopefully they haven't. Colol gives me migraines. I'm just faffing. Bear with me. Not that I'm precise or anything, but I'm just checking. Right, we're on the last leg. Look at all this mess. Right, let me show you this now it's dried. Oh, apart from that one little spot that I've got there, but doesn't that look lovely? I think that's fabulous. I don't think I need anything else on it. That was my chair, by the way. That looks lovely. So, do we want the texture on? I don't think it needs it. No, it doesn't need it. What it does need is this. So if you're struggling of what to send me for a birthday card next year, I love this. Now, who says you can't make a fabulous nautical card, eh? I've just knocked that, I saw it, so I'll go back to it in a second. Nearly done, everybody, nearly done. The texture dye might be put on later, but I don't think it needs it. I think the background stamp is doing its job. Right, so let's just put that straight. I'm nearly done. Nearly done. Oh, you're welcome. So, no, yes. What do you think? Do you think it's overkill? Do you think the red pearls are just too much? See what you're saying. Oh, thanks, Leslie. Pam says she don't mind Tuesday or Saturday. Oh, thanks, Andrea. What do you think? Do we need the red pearls or not? I think maybe it's a touch too far. Tell me what you think. No, I've decided I don't think it needs them. I think that one little pop of red is enough. Yeah, I think it looks better that way. There we go. All done. Let me make some space and then I'll show you a close-up. Then we'll do a quick little recap of the silhouette stamps and the background stamps because they're on offer. So if you want to save yourself a bit of money, that's how to do it. So let's do a top to bottom. So obviously the glitter's not quite dried yet on that craft layer. So that lovely watery looking layer here was the two chalk paints, the Oxford Blues and the Ocean Teal. We've got the background stamp, which is the vintage map, which is the big background stamp. The top stamp is, in fact, let me show you while I'm here. So currently all the silhouette stamps have got I can't remember whether it's 20 or 30% off for this weekend. So if you like them, I mean, I absolutely love the silhouettes. I think they're amazing. So we've created a scene look. So who'd have thought that a full DL stamp has made that lovely little framed topper? I just think it's fab, and I love that teal colour. So I've used the Sail Away. There are links in the description, remember everybody. So I've put links to the silhouette stamps and all the main products that I've used today on the in the description on YouTube and Facebook. So these are the 6 silhouette stamps: Scenic Silhouette, Sail Away, which is what I've used today, Daisy Days, which is the one with the tall daisies, the butterflies and the bunny. Then we've got Pond Haven, which is the one with the tall grasses, the bulrushes, the dragonflies, the geese or the ducks, and the little frog sitting on the rock. You've then got the Secret Garden, which is the fairies sitting and dancing through the mushrooms and what have you. So again, 3 different scenes you can make from that. Don't forget as well, they've all got their own sentiments in as well. Then you've got the Busy Bees, which I love. I might do a version of this with the Busy Bees. So the Busy Bees is the one with the beehives, the bees everywhere, and the sunflowers. And then you've got the Remembrance one, which is obviously for people in the services. Remembrance, so you've got a male soldier, female soldier, the cross in the field of poppies, extra poppies. So 2 extra poppies and then 2 sentiments. And again, that works for remembrance events wherever you are. And then the big background that I've used today is the vintage map. And the vintage map is the only one that is in landscape orientation. And I also could have used the vintage travel because I love this one. So if you like travel themed, it would have looked fab in the background here because they could have been sailing off to Paris or Rome or London or wherever. So there you go. So I'll do a proper photo tomorrow and pop it on the Facebook page. It's obviously still quite dimensional because that's what you would expect from me. So we've made a masculine style card with no flowers, but it still looks amazing. And it's teeny tiny card for me, look. It's 7 3/4 square. How about that? How about that? So thank you very much everybody. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I will be live on Tuesday evening. And then on Tuesday evening, I'm going to tell you whether I'm going to carry on doing twice a week or just once. I suspect at this time of year, because I'm getting really, really busy with prepping and designing for next year. So I suspect it'll be going down to once a week. But I will ask you all in our lovely Facebook group. So if you're in the Facebook group there, if you're not, that's what to search for on Facebook. I will ask you all over the weekend which is the best day, Tuesday evening or Saturday afternoon, and I will go with the majority unless I change my mind. But there you go. So have a lovely weekend, everybody. Thank you very much. Please remember to like the video and subscribe to YouTube, and like and share and what have you all over Facebook and everything. So something a little bit different, making use of stuff that we've already had, new products. Combination works perfectly well. Well, I think it's beautiful. And I shall see you all on Tuesday evening. So thanks, everybody. Have a lovely weekend. Bye.